Welcome to this presentation for Overunity in Architecture, Walk into the Future of Goodville, produced by Cavetronics R&D Energy, and narrated by Melissa R. Cody Prater. These architectural concepts are based on the scientific works of Brian David Prater and generated with the aid of AI software. For more details on this process, see the video presentation for Architectural Over Unity Artistic Concepts on WhoHub's channel on YouTube. This presentation provides information on the future phase of development. This presentation explains some of the vision we at Cavetronics R&D Energy have for future cities, how they should operate, what types of facilities and public services should be included, and for this video, artistic concepts of what they may look like. Let's begin with scenes from the park, nature, and trails. We live outside of the statistical improbabilities that are considered the norms of this world. Learn to play the game, they say. As efficiency systems engineers, like Native Americans, we have kept our ear to the ground, listening for the right moment. All the while we have toiled for the future, so that now we can move forth efficiently. We were labeled Generation X, to be X'd out of existence, but that is not what is happening. They tried to X us because they knew their days were numbered. We would like to set the record straight. We are humans, not machines. Yet the systems of this world have treated us like we are also machines. Let me explain to you a little example from my own life recently. I went to the dentist to get a tooth removed recently, and it's a little over 15 minutes late. But I checked in and I sat down and I waited for a while, and after a bit, the lady at the desk said, "Come up here, please." And the whole room was full of people still waiting to get seen, as it had been since I got there. And I went up there and wondered what she wanted. And she told me, she said, "Well, I just realized you were over 15 minutes late for your appointment. So you're going to have to come back at a later time. We can't have you here today. Your appointment's been canceled and it has to be rescheduled." And yet there's a whole room full of people and they're all still waiting. This is part of the machine that makes no sense to humanity whatsoever. When I was in grade school, one of the teachers told my parents during a parent-teacher conference that I had the influence over others that was so significant that I could get people to jump off a cliff. But I've never wanted anybody to jump off a cliff, especially if I'm the leader. No one's going off the cliff if I can help it. And unlike many of your leaders, we at Cavetronics R&D Energy feel that it is important that people enjoy their world rather than being locked in their homes and separated into paid-only groups. So the pools will be open to all of the public free of charge. There are some people who have wanted to divide this country and this world, but they do not know enough and should never have been making decisions without God as their head. That is why in WhoHub Humanitarian Software, we have devised new methods of vetting potential leaders using a gaming interface merged with other systems, including the mentor and apprentice system, whereby people can be connected with real guidance from real people, not machines. In 2012, when we made the first peep of an announcement of our software concept, we mentioned a karma merit rating system for users, which was always meant as a growth measurement, never a sliding scale, as some countries and systems have tried to do, which is not good for humanity, nor is it a good way to measure people by. We at Cavetronics R&D Energy have always been ahead of our time. Former Homeland Security Naval Intelligence and Sheriff John Biddy said in 2012 on the phone with myself that this idea solved all of the world's problems, which he did not think was possible, and that the concept was 100 years ahead of its time. We disagree on that last part, because we at Capetronics R&D Energy have been seeing the technology move in this direction all along. And we knew that this was a timely matter, which is why I emailed presidents, politicians, celebrities, and many others in this country and other countries while trying to get support for this project that can save our world's problems. But in this digital system matrix, the humans have been locked out, unable to communicate with each other. In fact, if my husband and I had not met in the earlier years of the internet, we would have never been able to find each other. Because it wasn't long after we met that Yahoo shut down user-created chat rooms and installed government bots, which quickly overwhelmed the real people in participation. Over the last couple of decades, I have watched as the internet communications have been cut off. Social media platforms were re-engineered to exclude live chat in real time, which is very important for human communication that is fluid like water. We are not timed machines. This is a glimpse into some of the conceptual designs for the Wellness Center based on Turkish baths, featuring bathing areas, spas, and saunas. We believe these places will be of healing to others due to the communal atmosphere. And in some dressing, changing, and bathing areas, males and females will be separated so people can feel comfortable. It is not meant for controversy, but rather to help people feel at ease and protect their privacy. Hopefully one day people will get over themselves. But in this individualistic machine that pits one person against another, it is difficult for children to learn to be part of a community. So we want to promote community with a variety of things like this. From the looks of things, we are either still being manipulated or we're split into parallel realities. I say that because from all indications that I've received, this game that Q talks about had to do with an AI apocalypse. And for what I understand, the AI game was to see if there really was a God or not, using timing and numbers. It also seems from the news that the AI game was beaten multiple times, which means that the people who think that they are some sort of authority are still not helping out, even if they know better. In fact, those people would rather bury the evidence about the human that God spoke through to beat the AI game. Yet no one is contacted, no phone call, no knock on the door, which would seem like the decent and honest thing to do. But no media coverage, just more darkness from the dark. Within days of releasing information online that we at Capetronics R&D Energy have been planning cities that feature Overunity, Trump announced his Freedom Cities, which has been discussed in the social media recently. From what I can discern, it seems to me that the Trump team didn't believe God existed either, and that they made contingency plans to take over our national parks instead. However, the Sioux Nation does not deserve to have their ancestral lands and graves desecrated any further with another lame face carved into a mountain. This is Show Me State, and here you show people, you don't just talk about it. I really wanted this presentation to be something else, but considering the timing, I had to address the grave issues at hand. What you are looking at here is some concepts to apply to architecture inside the campus and community cafeteria, which feeds people for free or very affordably, depending on what the circumstances are involving supply and demand. These foods will be grown on site for the most part, minus other foods that are limited to certain regions otherwise. Goodville will have its own greenhouses, and the students in the education systems will be involved in growing, harvesting, and preparing the foods as part of their various curriculum. Remember, these designs are just conceptual at this time, and as you can see, the scientific principles involving Overunity sometimes alters the decor and construction as it conforms to the formula. One of the vital columns of Goodville is the education system, from elementary and high schools to include a university for each site. Therefore, the education is focused on the local area and its needs. Schools will start teaching civics again, as well as important life skills and lessons, including those dealing with morality and virtues, minus the religious or government overlord slant. To the next topic. Have you ever tried to read laws? Perhaps it is because I have high functioning autism and dyslexia, but whenever I read the laws, it seems to be saying the exact opposite of the title it purports to mean in some way. So I'm going to close out this presentation with chapter 28 from Isaiah on this subject at hand. The prophet Isaiah gave us this message to consider for times like these. Woe to the wreath, the pride of Ephraim's drunkards, to the fading flower, his glorious beauty, set on the head of a fertile valley, to that city, the pride of those laid low by wine. See, the Lord has one who is powerful and strong, like a hailstorm and a destructive wind, like a driving rain and a flooding downpour. He will throw it forcefully to the ground. That wreath, the pride of Ephraim's drunkards, will be trampled underfoot. That fading flower, his glorious beauty, set on the head of a fertile valley, will be like figs ripe before harvest. As soon as people see them and take them in hand, they swallow them. In that day, the Lord Almighty will be a glorious crown, a beautiful wreath for the remnant of his people. He will be a spirit of justice to the one who sits in judgment, a source of strength to those who turn back the battle at the gate. And these also stagger from wine and reel from beer. Priests and prophets stagger from beer, and are befuddled with wine. They reel from beer. They stagger when seeing visions. They stumble when they're rendering decisions. All the tables are covered with vomit, and there is not a spot without filth. Who is it he is trying to teach? To whom is he explaining his message? To children weaned from their milk? To those just taken from the breast? For it is do this, do that, a rule for this, a rule for that, a little here, a little there. Very well then, with foreign lips and strange tongues God will speak to his people, to whom he said, this is the resting place, let the weary rest, and this is the place of repose, but they would not listen. So then the word of the Lord to them will become, do this, do that, a rule for this, a rule for that, a little here, a little there, so that as they go they will fall backward, they will be injured and snared and captured. Therefore hear the word of the Lord, you scoffers who rule this people in Jerusalem. You boast, we have entered into a covenant with death, and with the realm of the dead we have made an agreement. When an overwhelming scourge sweeps by, it cannot touch us, for we have made a lie our refuge, and a falsehood our hiding place. So this is what the sovereign Lord says. See, I lay a stone in Zion, a tested stone, a precious cornerstone for a sure foundation. The one who relies on it will never be stricken with panic. I will make justice the measuring line, and righteousness the plumb line. Hail will sweep away your refuge, the lie, and water will overflow your hiding place. Your covenant with death will be annulled. Your agreement with the realm of the dead will not stand. When the overwhelming scourge sweeps by, you will be beaten down by it. As often as it comes, it will carry you away. Morning after morning, by day and by night, it will sweep through. The understanding of this message will bring sheer terror. The bed is too short to stretch out on, the blanket too narrow to wrap around you. The Lord will rise up as he did at Mount Perazim. He will rouse himself as in the valley of Gibeon to do his work, his strange work, and perform his task, his alien task. Now stop your mocking, or your chains will become heavier. The Lord Almighty has told me of the destruction decreed against the whole land. Listen and hear my voice. Pay attention and hear what I say. When a farmer plows for planting, does he plow continually? Does he keep on breaking up and working the soil? When he has leveled the surface, does he not sow caraway and scatter cumin? Does he not plant wheat in its place, barley in its plot, and spelt in its field? His God instructs him and teaches him the right way. Caraway is not threshed with a sledge, nor is a cartwheel rolled over cumin. Caraway is beaten out with a rod, and cumin with a stick. Grain must be ground to make bread, so one does not go on threshing it forever. Though he drives the wheels of his threshing cart over it, his horses do not grind it. All this also comes from the Lord Almighty, wonderful in counsel and magnificent in wisdom. To support this work, you can purchase digital art from Cavetronics Art on Etsy, which has a link available in our YouTube banner as shown here. Please also like, share, and subscribe to this channel to help our algorithms on YouTube. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.